Hi everyone, thank you for your time to listen to this presentation. My name is Phillipus. I'm currently taking graduate certificate in cybersecurity and networking at the Melbourne Institute of Technology. This presentation is part of my second assignment in my course, but I do hope that you can find it useful for a quick overview. Network protocol. To be able to communicate with one another at the network device, it needs to have a form of communication. This is where the Internet Protocol or IP takes place in the networking. It is the communication protocol to transmit the data on the network. The two types of the IP. UDP is a connectionless communication protocol, which there is no need for an actual network connection to be established, as the sender will just send the data packets and will not wait or accept any response of the data that being sent out. TCP, on the other hand, will ensure receiver will receive all the data that has been sent and keeping the data transmission to make sure that the data packets are received by the receiver in the intended order. Spot in the TCP. The TCP IP uses a numeric value as an identifier, which is the port number, to represent the application and services on the system. Apart from the port 80 for HTTP, 443 for HTTPS, when we do a file sharing between the computers on the server's network environment, it will need the Samba and TCP protocol, which uses at port 445 and 139. This well-known port then for the specific application are then registered to an organization called by the Internet Assigned Number Authority or IANA. So basically to advise the other IT professionals that there is a port number and it's been allocated to an application. So the importance of the port scanner. As we mentioned before, TCP port represents an application or service-specific endpoint identifier. After knowing the overview of the ports in the Internet Protocol, we are now aware that even without knowing, a certain ports are already open, such as port 137 and 138, which is used for the NetBIOS communication between the PCs. And as we know, that if we do a file sharing, another port will be open, which is 445 and 139. A port scanner is a program to check the status of the port in the target computer or device. It can then identify what are the services on the device that's running and found any port that might unknowingly being open, which can be lead to a vulnerability of the device. We are now moved on to the demonstration. The purpose of this exercise is to see how fast the port scan result between the two applications, which is the NMap and as well as advanced port scanner. We will use my home network to see the devices across the network, which will include some of the IoT, such as managed PowerPoint switches and Google Nest Hub. So let's get on with it. I already opened the Kali, and this is the advanced port scanner. The scan on this exercise on the NMap, I will put it as simple as I can, which is this, which kind of like the equivalent on the advanced port scanner that we are going to use as well. In this demonstration, we're actually going to have a look how fast on both applications showing the result. As we can see here, the NMap is already finished and the advanced port scanner is still going. We will have a quick look on the result for some devices that found on the network. As you can see here, this is my modem router, which in here is the result from the NMap. As you can see, it's actually open port 53, which is a DNS. This is basically to resolve the DNS from the device to the internet. And this is a Raspberry device, which is IoT, to control on electrical switches around my house. This 113 is the switches that is on the bathroom, as you can see. And obviously the other things that I want to point out is this one, 117, which is this Kali operating system itself. By default, the Kali operating system will close all the ports. So now we will concentrate on the Kali just to see the statuses. As you can see here on the advanced port scanner, there is nothing here. Whereas in the router, for example, the service is HTTP port 53, port 80. I will now demonstrate how to actually switch the statuses so we can have a clear understanding on the status on each of the program. For this demonstration, I will activate the SSH on the Kali. This command is to actually activate the SSH on the Kali. Just putting the sudo password. Once this command is being executed, we can now actually log into the SSH on the Kali. I'm using Putty here and already prepared the Kali. If I load, this will be the IP address of the Kali and hit open and say accept. As you can see here, I can actually now connect to the Kali using SSH. Now then, I will show you the result on the NMap when we only scan the Kali. Now change this as well to 17. So this NMap now it's showing that port 22 is open on the Kali. As you can see that we can actually access the SSH through the Putty before. I'm now going to use a IP chain firewall, which is built in Kali, to actually drop the connection of the SSH. The advanced port scanner is showing port 22 now for the Kali. This command here is basically to tell the Kali or the IP tables on the Kali to drop any connection on the port 22. So if we try to load the Kali, there will be no connection now. And if we do a scan again, it will say filtered. What is filtered mean here is basically to block the connection, but it's not actually sending anything. This is the result on the Putty. It says network error connection timeout. So there is no connect now. There is no connection in the Putty. I will now change the IP tables. Instead of rejecting, instead of drop, I apologize. Instead of doing drop in here, I will now reject the connection. That's not the right command. And now we do the scan again. And as you can see here, the NMap now showing that the port 22 is closed. The difference is that the port 22 now state is closed, where in the beginning, it did not actually show anything. 117, this was the Kali. As you can see, there is nothing on the port. But now the state on the port on the NMap will show as closed instead of filtered before. And here also the port advanced port scanner is not showing anything. Now there is a difference as well with the NMap, because NMap is by default is not showing the operating system on the target device. To actually run the guessing the operating system of the target device, I will need to put another flag as -O, but that command will take a long time to actually finish. Here is the command that I've done previously, which I add also -O to scan my whole network here. As you can see, I've just taken an example on my computer. For example, only say, unfortunately, this is wrong. But it's actually guessed the operating system on the target device. As I mentioned before, as this presentation, it is not too deep. I will not discuss further about how to get this target device or guessing the operating system to be up and running perfectly, because it actually needs to change the database, and as well as if we want, we can use -A as a all, but it takes very long time. So the tool comparison that we use for the NMap is basically quick and efficient of auditing the network, giving accurate and fast scanning on the port, having a parameters to tailor the needs of the scanning. The other option that is famous for the penetration testing is the -SS like this. It's basically a stealth, so that when we do a port scanning, we will hide the identity on the sender, so it will not actually be identified as attack. And as you can see before, it's -O for the OS detection. And for the advanced port scanner, it is more graphic user interface, which is more presentable. But the option to run without, the other option is to run it without installing in Windows. So we can just use run instead of install. More function for Windows, which are the remote access, wake up on LAN, and execute remote command. But it's very slow in scanning because it's also guessing the operating system. The status of the port only will show that the port number or nothing, which is not much of a detail. As you can see before, basically it will show port 22 or will not show port 22. Conclusion. To perform advanced port scanner or to perform initial penetration test, the NMap is undoubtedly the best program to use. It has comprehensive parameters or flag to suit the need, and also can be used with the other software. The NMap actually have the version of the Windows, which is not showing here, but it requires a certain level of knowledge to be able to fully utilize it. On the other hand, the advanced port scanner, if you actually want to use it and have a more time and the urgency it is not critical, advanced port scanner is the best tool to use in Windows operating system. It gives the basic output while having some functions specifically for Windows operating system. Thank you very much for listening to this demonstration. I do really hope that some of the part here that will be useful to you, and hope you can enjoy it.